Mercedes, and I will present QUIPU. So what we are creating are local digital markets for low-income communities to trade through a mutual credit system. 1/3 of the world population live in displaced-based informal economies, as cities, but informal. And what we are seeing is that they lack two main things. On one side, they lack information, and on the other side, they lack money, which is a big thing. But we know that these people have a strong community network. These people are offering and demanding a lot of services that are produced in situ, they're produced in these place-based economies, and at the same time they have an incredible entrepreneurial and innovative spirit. So we want to build on what they have to feed on what they lack, mainly in the money one. So how this works nowadays, and how QUIPU wants to work. So nowadays these families' main income is based on first, word of mouth. Like if they are capable of selling or not their goods to their neighbors or another person in the neighborhood, but word of mouth. And on the other side, on the unstable capacity of their clients to pay, because the money goes like this in these places. So what we're proposing is QUIPU, which is a platform where they can create their profile, putting what they're offering. At the same time, they will receive a credit with which they can pay to their neighbors all the things that are offered in the digital market, and at the same time being paid immediately by their clients. And also, I lost it. So, it's very important. Now I can continue without it, but I want you to see. Okay, yes. Lastly, they will be visible to their neighbors by creating a map, like Google Maps, but now this is not existing in these settings. So finally, what we are proposing is enable more and better transactions, not just inside the community, but also outside. Why? Because it will increase the amount of money available to pay for and meet basic needs, like education or health. Things that you don't find inside your neighborhood, but you need to use your pesos for that. And on the other side, we are creating, we are creating data of these informal economies that today doesn't exist. So we don't know how these economies are working. So what we are proposing is, on one side, to give, through this information, different like public or private services could be delivered in a better way. And on the other side, we will create, based on the transaction history of the individuals that are using the platform, we are going to create a new credit score with which they can access different financial services that they are not accessing now. So in this side, we are working with a microfinance institution in Colombia and a community where we spent 1 month this summer, and we will pilot this in November with them. So the idea is also to get the interest rates lower, because now it's like 40% in Colombia to these business owners that are very small business owners. So the idea is to create a transaction history based on the community exchange and not just in the individual. So lastly, the last slide was our team. So our team is composed by urban planners, by economists, and by computer scientists. And we appreciate very much your feedback, please. Yes, so, well, I can talk about our experience. So we've been all June in Colombia, in Barranquilla, that is in the coast, working with a public housing neighborhood. First, with the community, we did a co-creation of the platform. Actually, the design of the platform, we did it with them. And we realized that things that are very difficult to explain in these settings are very normal and natural in these places. And actually they don't know what's going on. But there were like more than 300 informal shops inside their houses. And they're like even transforming the public housing that they've been offered to be able to sell, for example. So we realized that there was like a mismatch of like supply and demand, where people don't know who's selling what and where, and at the same time, they are offering things, but as they are mostly depending on the economy outside the neighborhood, sometimes like they receive money or not. So what we did was like a process of first doing a survey. After the survey, we did like a participatory mapping, analyzing this data with the community, and we end up designing this platform with them. So we know that this makes sense to the end user, and they are willing to use it, because nowadays they are using WhatsApp or Facebook. So we also know like what kind of platforms they are using to build on that. And then on the other side, the microfinance institution, they're even willing to receive this local currency as part of the payment of credits. So then they are gaining this currency to pay for to give incentives to a community for community activities, for example, or other kind of things. Or for example, an electric company called Electric Caribe, they are willing also to receive these points or local currency as payment of the service, in order for them to give incentives if the people use better the energy, for example. So we are like putting like different actors together also in the.
So you're creating currency, basically.
Yeah. It's a mutual credit system. Like we give credit to each other, that we know that it's all only useful in this place-based economy. Yes. Sorry.
So just sort of, I mean, so it's known typically as an alternative currency. There's a very famous one in Switzerland that's been operating for 70 years. And what local currencies are is a counter-cyclical. So when you have economic difficulties, what tends to happen is people move business into the counter currency. And that's, for instance, what Switzerland, the people who own property or builders used a thing called the VRWIR it's currently an electronic currency. Yeah. But they use that as a way of creating a local currency so that they can continue investment and building in their community. And there's been many successful currencies like this, but usually it's the overhead of accounting and taking care of it that makes them difficult. There's a lot of friction in creating your own currency. And as you move to a digital platform, that overhead can drop dramatically. And that makes the whole alternative currency idea a lot more viable. So if you're not
Thank you.
familiar with
Yeah, and we're coming from Argentina, so we really know what is that your currency is not working and you need to rely on it. So we're basing on our own experience, and we're basing also in a lot of work in informal context in Latin America. Actually, our team that you cannot meet, sorry, but like we're coming from Mexico, Colombia, and Argentina, so it's quite diverse.
But if you look at Mark Carney's comments on what's going to happen in the UK with a hard Brexit, they actually might need this.
In Bristol they have one.
You'll have a crash in the pound coupled with spiraling inflation.
Well, for instance, I mean, so Nomura, probably all David knows, one of the biggest Japanese financials, is working with us to create an alternative currency for Japan to help promote commerce in the villages that are all dying, right? So this is not like some crackpot thing. So we're not quite sure how it's really going to happen, but when you get Nomura and people like that investing in it, and the Swiss government investing in it, and it's like, yeah, okay.
So as a follow-up, in the Swiss example, what is the exchange rate? How is that pegged?
So originally, the exchange rate floated, and there were various sorts of things. It was fairly stable. And in the last decade or two, they've pegged it to the franc.
To the Swiss franc.
To the Swiss franc, yeah. So it's less alternative currency than it was, but they could unpeg it again if there had a big crash in Switzerland.
Yeah, so like we are thinking on 1 peso, 1 Colombian peso, 1 QUIPU if you want, because it's the easiest way. But at the same time, yeah, like in, for example, Switzerland or other, even in Massachusetts, there is a local currency. But mostly what they do is like you go to, there are certain banks, local banks that exchange your dollars for these pounds, for example. But we don't want to be, you don't gain this credit by exchanging. You get it like airdrop when you sign in the platform. Because if not, we'll be basing again on what these people have, and actually what we want is to increase the amount of money.
Yeah, you won't generate that more wealth if you had to exchange it for your pesos of your national currency, but you can create wealth if you can make a system based and backed from what you can offer to the system, to the network.
Often these things bootstrap themselves by local government allowing taxes to be paid in that currency. So if you're a small business, it makes sense for you to accept this, like for food or something like that, because you can pay your taxes in this currency.
When
Could
we
be
are
a
doing
compliment.
sorry.
It could be a compliment for little things like buying rice, right? You're not gonna move your whole family economy to this currency, but then as Mercedes was saying, mentioning the electrical company, you could use that for public services or to pay taxes. But then I think that maybe like a phase 2 or something that you could promote with time. But still, what we're trying to do now is to create this network of local enterprises, local companies, and entrepreneurs that want to trade and wanna like promote their businesses in their community.
Yeah, not just that, but also like, so our first like business model is having the microfinance institutions, because they will get advantage of this information to give credits to the people, like new customers, and also get low their default rates, which are very high. So in this way, before these people were writing what they are selling in a piece of paper. You know, that there's no way of knowing how amount of things they sold or they are buying. And now we have a transaction history where they can say, look, microfinance, whatever, here's all the things that I sold, the things that I bought, I'm able to repay this certain loan. So we are going to charge per new borrower, or yeah, mostly per new borrower. So we're trying to figure out that.
Good, thank you.